The world around Liam Cross was a blur of white. The air felt cold. The smell of metal and medicine filled the room. When his eyes opened, he found himself lying on a flat table with bright lights shining into his face. Thin wires were attached to his temples, and a soft mechanical hum echoed nearby. He tried to move, but his wrists were strapped to the table. A calm female voice spoke from somewhere above him. "Liam Cross," the voice said softly. "Please don't panic, you're safe now." He blinked, searching for the source of the voice, but all he could see was a glowing glass wall in front of him. His heart pounded fast, confusion flooding his thoughts. "Where am I?" He whispered, his throat dry. "What's going on?" The glass wall lit up, showing a woman's face, sharp, calm, and cold. She wore a white coat and had gray eyes that looked through him, not at him. "I'm Dr. Vale," she said. "You're in a recovery facility owned by Neuralink Corporation." Liam tried to remember. The name sounded familiar, but his thoughts were tangled. Then in a flash he saw it, his office. Computer screens, hidden files, and then men in black storming in. He gasped as the memories returned in pieces. Dr. Vale's voice continued smoothly. "You discovered something you weren't supposed to, Liam," she said. "And now, your life is in danger." Liam's pulse quickened. "What do you mean? I didn't do anything wrong." "You accessed confidential data from the Eden Protocol," she replied, her tone even. "You saw the truth about what Neuralink is creating?" He frowned, shaking his head. "I don't even remember." She smiled faintly. "That's because your memory is fragmented." The screen flickered, showing a symbol he recognized, the logo of Neuralink, a silver circle around a glowing brain. Then came an image that froze his breath. It was his own face on a missing person poster. The date below said he had been gone for 3 days. He couldn't understand it. He was right here, breathing, alive. "Your body survived," Dr. Vale said softly. "But your mind, it's been tampered with." He struggled against the straps, panic rising. "Let me out of here," he said. "I just want to go home." "There is no home anymore." "Liam," she replied, her tone almost kind. "The people who loved you think you're dead." He stared at her, anger mixing with fear. "What do you want from me?" Her expression didn't change, but her words carried a strange weight. "I want to give you a choice," she said. She stepped closer to the glass, her voice now lower. "We can erase your memories of Neuralink and everything that happened," she said. "You'll wake up in a new life with no fear, no pain, no knowledge of what you saw." Liam's breath hitched. "Erase my memories?" he asked. "Yes," she said. "You'll be free, safe, and alive." He stared at her, unable to speak. "And if I say no?" She looked at him directly, her gray eyes calm. "Then you keep your memories," she said, "but you will die within 24 hours. Silence filled the room. He could hear the steady beep of a machine next to him. His heart was racing faster, his hands trembling. "You're lying," he whispered. "This is some kind of trick." Dr. Vale tilted her head slightly. "You always say that," she said quietly. He frowned. "What do you mean, always?" She smiled faintly. "This isn't the first time we've had this conversation." His eyes widened. "You've done this before?" She nodded. Many times. He tried to process it, but his thoughts felt heavy. His memories flickered again. Brief flashes of the same white room. The same voice, the same choice. It felt impossible. Yet his gut told him it was true. He looked around and saw faint markings on the table, as if someone had struggled there before. Someone like him. "Why can't I remember everything?" he asked desperately. Dr. Vale's voice softened. "Because remembering too much at once can destroy your mind," she said. "We give you only fragments each time." He stared at her, realization slowly sinking in. "You're experimenting on me," he whispered. "We're trying to save you," she replied calmly. He shook his head. "You're trying to control me," Dr. Vale sighed, pressing a button on her console. The straps on his arms loosened. He sat up slowly, his vision still blurry. On a small table beside him lay a silver tablet, glowing softly. "Your choice will be recorded here," she said. "Tap Erase to start a new life." He looked down and saw 2 glowing options on the screen. Erase and keep. His hands trembled as he hovered between them. Dr. Vale's voice grew distant as she spoke. "Think carefully, Liam. The last time you chose to keep your memories, you begged for another chance." He looked up at her, confusion and anger mixing in his eyes. "What do you mean last time?" he asked, but she didn't answer. Her image flickered, and the screen went black. The lights in the room began to dim, the air humming with static. Somewhere above, a hidden speaker crackled. "Your memories are killing you, Liam," the voice whispered. He looked down at the tablet again, his reflection staring back at him through the glowing words. "Erase or keep?" he hesitated. Breathing fast in the glass wall's reflection, he saw something behind him, a faint shadow moving, a human shape watching him silently. His heart pounded harder. Was it real or just another memory fragment? He didn't know anymore. He looked at the tablet again, torn between life and truth. The light from the screen reflected in his eyes as he whispered, "What if the truth is already gone?" The screen flickered again, showing his own face smiling in another life. Then it went blank, waiting for his choice. He took a shaky breath and reached out his hand. Choice: keep your memories and face the danger, or erase them and start again. The screen still glowed in front of Liam. 2 words stared back at him like eyes watching his soul: erase or keep. His hand hovered between them, his breath uneven. Then, somewhere in the room, a low alarm began to hum. The light flickered, and a red glow washed over the walls. The female voice returned through the speaker. "Sharp and urgent now. Security breach detected. Containment compromised." Liam flinched. Spinning around behind him, the glass wall began to ripple like water, its surface flickering with static. Through it, he could see shadows moving, people running, shouting. He didn't understand what was happening, but something inside him screamed, "Run." He looked back at the tablet, then made his decision. He slammed his hand down. But before the system could respond, the power cut out. The room plunged into darkness. Only the faint glow from emergency lights painted his face red. He tore the wires from his head, gasping as a wave of dizziness hit him. The door slid open slightly, hissing with steam. Without thinking, Liam ran. Cold metal floors echoed under his feet. The hall outside stretched into an endless tunnel lined with blinking lights and broken monitors. Somewhere deeper in the facility, alarm screamed. He turned a corner and nearly collided with a woman. She was young, sharp-eyed, her long hair tied back and her breathing heavy. She wore a gray jacket with a digital badge that read Nova. For a moment, they just stared at each other. Then she whispered, "You're Liam Cross." He blinked in confusion. "How do you know my name?" She grabbed his hand. "Because I've been trying to find you." He hesitated, but her urgency pulled him forward. Together they ran down another corridor, the sound of boots and metallic footsteps echoing behind them. "Who are they?" he asked. "Agents from Neuralink," she said quickly. "They don't want you to leave this place alive." He glanced at her. "Why me? I don't even remember what I did." She gave him a brief look, her eyes filled with something between fear and pity. "You remember more than you think," she said quietly. They burst through a heavy door into a service tunnel. Pipes dripped overhead and the air smelled like rust and chemicals. Liam's mind was spinning every few seconds. A flash of memory hit him, screens filled with data, hidden folders, encrypted names, and always that same project title, an Eden Protocol. He looked at Nova. "What is Eden Protocol?" She stopped, catching her breath. "It's a program designed to control human thought," she said. "Neuralink is using memory manipulation to rewrite behavior." Her words chilled him. He remembered the offer. The talk of erasing pain, creating new lives. It wasn't mercy, it was control. "So they erase people who know too much?" he asked. She nodded. "Or people who refuse to obey." They reached a sealed hatch at the end of the tunnel. Nova pulled out a small device and placed it on the lock. It beeped softly before the metal slid open with a loud clang. Light poured in. For the first time, Liam saw the outside world. The city stretched far and wide, silver towers piercing the night sky, drones gliding silently between buildings, and holographic ads shimmering on glass surfaces. But there was something eerie about it. The people below moved in perfect rhythm, their faces calm, their eyes empty. Liam whispered, "They look programmed." Nova looked at him sadly. "Because they are." She led him down a fire escape to a narrow alley glowing with neon lights. Rain drizzled lightly, washing the air with static reflections. Liam pulled up the hood of his torn jacket, still trembling. "Where are we going?" "To a safe zone," Nova replied. a place off the grid. They walked fast through the back streets. Every sound made Liam flinch. Every flicker of light felt like a camera watching him. He could feel eyes, hidden lenses in walls tracking his face. The world outside was not the world he remembered. It was cleaner, quieter, too perfect. "Are we still in the city?" he asked. Nova nodded. "Just not the one you remember." They reached an old warehouse at the edge of the district. Inside, the floor was filled with computers, cables, and flickering monitors. A few people worked quietly, all wearing plain clothes and tired faces. "This is Haven," Nova said. "We're what's left of the resistance." Liam looked around. Amazed and confused, resistance against what? Nova pointed at one of the screens. It showed an image of a brain glowing with circuit patterns. Below it, a message scrolled, "Eden Protocol. Phase 5. Global Integration." "What does that mean?" Liam asked. "It means they're almost done," she replied grimly. "Once the final phase launches, free will won't exist anymore." Before he could respond, one of the monitors flickered. Dr. Vale's calm face appeared on the screen. Her tone was smooth, emotionless. "Liam, I'm glad you escaped," she said. "You always do." Nova's eyes widened. "She found us already." Liam clenched his fist. "What do you want from me?" Dr. Vale smiled faintly. "Only your cooperation." The lights in the warehouse flickered as static filled the air. Her voice echoed through the speakers. "Come back, Liam. And we'll let the others live." Liam stepped closer to the screen. His voice low. "You're lying, am I?" she said softly. Suddenly, every screen in the room showed his face. Not the one standing there, but one smiling, calm and clean. The caption below read, "Liam Cross, a volunteer. Neuralink subject number 001. He felt the ground shift beneath him. He couldn't breathe. "What is this?" he asked. Nova looked at him, her voice trembling. "You were one of them." "Liam," she whispered. "You helped build the system." The alarms began again, red lights flashing across the room. Outside, drones swarmed the sky. Searching for the building, Nova grabbed his hand. "We have to go." Liam hesitated, staring at the image of his old self. The smiling man on the screen looked happy and free, and yet he didn't recognize him at all. As the windows shattered and the first drone broke through, Liam and Nova ran through the back door into the dark rain. Behind them, the building exploded in white light, and in that flash, he saw her face again, Dr. Vale's calm smile through the smoke. Her voice echoed through the chaos. "Run as many times as you want, Liam," she said softly. "You'll always come back to me. Trust Nova and dig deeper into your past. Go alone and find your own truth." Rain poured down in silver sheets as Liam and Nova ran through the deserted streets. The echoes of the explosion behind them still burned in the air. The neon lights reflected off the wet pavement, glowing like liquid fire beneath their feet. Every few seconds, a drone's red eye scanned the alleys, searching for heat signatures. They ducked behind a rusted transport vehicle. Both breathing hard, Liam pressed a hand to his chest, feeling his heart hammering like it wanted to escape. He looked at Nova, her face streaked with rain and dust, her green eyes glowing faintly in the dim light. He wanted to ask if she was scared, but her steady gaze told him she had no room left for fear. "Where now?" he whispered. She pointed toward the far side of the city where the towers vanished into fog. "There's one last place," she said. "The Ghost Vault." Liam frowned. "Ghost Vault?" "It's where Neuralink stores erased memories," she said quietly. "Fragments of people they've wiped, thoughts they didn't delete completely." He stared at her, the words sinking in slowly. "You mean pieces of me could be there?" Nova nodded. "If we find your files, we'll know what they made you forget." They waited for the drone to pass before slipping into the shadow of a broken sky bridge. The city stretched above them like a machine breathing smoke. Hollow ads shimmered across the towers, showing happy faces and perfect lives. But now Liam could see the flicker in every image. Small glitches, faint distortions. It wasn't perfection, it was programming. As they crossed into the lower sector, the streets grew darker. Old buildings sagged under years of decay. Liam noticed strange graffiti on the walls, red circles with crossed-out eyes, and words scratched beneath. "Don't forget who you were." Nova touched one symbol gently, her fingers trembling. "This was our mark," she whispered. before we lost the others. They entered an abandoned subway tunnel lit by flickering blue lamps. In the distance, the faint hum of servers pulsed through the air like a heartbeat. Liam followed Nova down the narrow stairs until they reached a steel door half buried under cables. She pulled out a data key and pressed it into the slot. The door opened with a hiss, revealing a room filled with glowing data pods. Each pod flickered with fragments of memories, faces, voices, and places playing in broken loops. Liam stepped closer, mesmerized. He saw a child laughing, a woman crying, a man shouting into a void. "Are these all erased people?" he asked quietly. Nova nodded. "The ones who didn't completely vanish." She moved to a console and began typing, her fingers flying across the screen. The monitors came alive, streams of data filling the room. "Searching for Cross, Liam," she muttered. "Subject 01. Liam watched the data flicker, lines of code rearranging into video fragments. Then one screen cleared and he saw himself. He was sitting in a bright lab. Smiling calmly, Dr. Vale stood beside him, her hand on his shoulder. "You've done something remarkable." "Liam," she said on the screen, "you've built a system that can rewrite pain itself." The version of Liam in the video smiled. "I just wanted to help people forget their suffering." Vale nodded. "And you will once you let go of your own." The video glitched, then replayed a line on loop. "Let go of your own." Liam's hands trembled. He turned to Nova. "I created the memory tech?" "Yes," she said softly. "But you didn't know how far they'd go." He took a shaky step back. "You knew this?" Nova hesitated, her jaw tightening. "I knew parts of it." He glared at her. "Parts of it?" Her silence felt like betrayal. "How long have you known me?" he demanded. She looked down. "Since before you erased yourself." Liam froze. "What?" Nova swallowed hard. "You came to me before the wipe. You told me everything, and then you asked me to stop you if you ever tried to go back." He felt dizzy, like the ground beneath him had tilted. "So you're saying I chose this?" Nova nodded, tears forming in her eyes. "You said your guilt was too heavy. You'd helped build something that could destroy humanity. You wanted to erase it all, but I couldn't let you vanish completely." Liam turned away, staring at his reflection in a cracked screen. He barely recognized the man staring back, eyes hollow, face haunted. "So what am I now?" he whispered. "Someone who wanted redemption," Nova said, "and maybe still can have it." Before he could respond, an alarm blared. Red lights filled the vault, and the data pods began shutting down. Nova spun around. "They found us again." Dr. Vale's voice echoed through the speakers, calm and chilling. "You really think you can hide forever, Nova?" Liam grabbed the console, searching for a way to copy his files. But every pod began melting into white noise, the data corrupting faster than he could save it. Vale's voice grew louder. "Liam, come home." "You belong here," he shouted. "You erased me. You used me." She replied smoothly, "No, Liam, you volunteered." Suddenly, a new video appeared on the central screen. Liam again, speaking directly to the camera. "If you're watching this," his recorded self said, "it means you tried to undo your choice. I know you're angry," the video Liam continued, "but you must remember, I wasn't the victim. I was the architect." Nova's face went pale. Liam couldn't look away. His own voice spoke again, calm but final. "Don't blame Nova, she only followed the plan." The screen went black. Liam turned to Nova slowly, betrayal burning in his chest. "You were part of it," he whispered. She didn't answer. Her silence told him everything. Then, before he could speak again, the ceiling above them cracked with a thunderous blast. Armed drones descended through the smoke. Nova grabbed Liam's arm. "We have to go." "Now." He pulled his arm free, his voice cold. "Tell me one reason not to leave you here." She looked at him with desperate eyes. "Because I still remember who you were." The drones opened fire, sparks flying across the vault. Liam dove for cover as the floor shook violently. He glanced at Nova one last time, her face illuminated by the burning data pods. In that moment, he couldn't tell if she was his ally or his greatest mistake. As the vault collapsed, the system's final message echoed through the speakers. Memory corruption at 93%. System instability detected. Liam and Nova vanished into the smoke. But behind them, a single data file remained on the damaged console. Its label flickered faintly. Eden Protocol Reboot Sequence. Incomplete. Fade out. Choice: confront Nova about the betrayal, or search the remaining file for the truth about Eden. Smoke filled the tunnel as Liam stumbled through the darkness. The air was heavy with dust and static, each breath sharp in his throat. Behind him, the vault burned in a storm of sparks. The drone's mechanical screams fading into the distance. Nova was ahead, her jacket torn, her arm bleeding, but she didn't stop running. They finally collapsed behind a broken pillar. Gasping for air, Liam pressed his hand against his forehead, his mind pulsing with pain. Images flashed before his eyes. Vale's voice, the memory files, his own face on the screen. It all twisted together like a broken film reel. He didn't know what was real anymore. Nova turned to him, her face pale under the flickering emergency light. "Liam, listen to me," she said. "We can still stop them." He looked at her, confused, angry. "Stop them? You lied to me, Nova. You used me." Her expression cracked, guilt flickering in her eyes. "I didn't lie," she said quietly. "I just didn't tell you everything." Liam's voice trembled with frustration. "What else could there be? I built the machine that erased minds I volunteered to forget, and now I'm stuck in the same nightmare I created." Nova shook her head. "It's not that simple." She reached into her bag and pulled out a small metallic disc, glowing faintly blue. "This is what we came for," she said. "The backup file." Liam frowned. "Backup?" Nova nodded. "Before you erased yourself, you created one last copy of your mind, your true self." He stared at the disc, disbelief flooding his voice. "You mean that's me?" She nodded. "The part of you that remembered everything." Liam took the disc, feeling its hum against his palm. It was warm, almost alive. "How do I access it?" he asked. Nova hesitated. "You'll have to connect it directly to your neural core." He froze. "You mean into my head?" She nodded again. "It's the only way." He looked at her suspiciously. "Why didn't you tell me this before?" Her eyes softened. "Because the moment you do it, you'll stop being this version of you, and I wasn't ready to lose you again." The words hit him harder than the explosion. He turned away, unsure whether to believe her or not. The rain outside had stopped. Leaving the city coated in a ghostly mist, Liam stared out into the fog. Everything around him felt distant, as if reality itself was starting to bend. Suddenly his vision blurred, the walls began to ripple, and faint voices echoed in his head. "Liam," one whispered, "remember what you promised." He clutched his head, falling to his knees. "Not again," he muttered. The voice grew louder, calm and familiar. "Dr. Vales?" "You can't run from your own mind," she said gently. "You're already inside it." The world around him shifted. The tunnel vanished, replaced by white walls and flickering lights. Liam looked down. His hands were clean. Unscarred, a lab coat hung from his shoulders. Nova was gone. In her place stood Dr. Vale, smiling softly. "You're back," she said. Liam stumbled backward. "This isn't real." Vale tilted her head. "What is real?" "Pain, memory." "You designed the difference," he shouted. "Stop." But his voice echoed endlessly. She stepped closer, placing her hand over his chest. "Your mind fractured when you tried to overwrite yourself," she said. "Now you're trapped between two worlds." He shook his head, trying to focus. "I'm not staying here," he said. "I know who you are now." Vale smiled faintly. "Do you? Or do you just remember what you chose to forget?" He blinked and the world shifted again. He was back in the tunnel. Nova crouched beside him, shaking his shoulder. "Liam, wake up," she yelled. He gasped, blinking rapidly, the memory of Vale's voice fading. Nova looked terrified. "You blacked out for 10 minutes. He nodded weakly. "I saw her." Nova's face hardened. "Vale?" "Yes," he whispered. She said, "I'm trapped in my own mind." Nova glanced at the disc still glowing in his hand. "That's because she's still connected to it," she said. "Your neural link is incomplete." Liam frowned. "Then we finish it," she hesitated. "If you do this, you might not survive the merge." He met her eyes. "If I don't, I'll never know the truth." They found an abandoned maintenance hub nearby. Nova powered up a neural link station, cables humming softly in the dark. Liam sat in the chair, his heart racing. The disc pulsed with a deep blue glow as Nova connected it to the port at the back of his neck. "Ready?" she asked. He took a deep breath. "Do it." The moment she activated the sequence, pain shot through his body like lightning. His mind exploded with images, hundreds of memories flooding back at once. He saw himself working beside Vale, designing the Eden Protocol, watching as human volunteers entered pods and woke up with blank smiles. He saw the world before it changed, then a world full of chaos, pain and suffering, and he heard himself say, "Maybe forgetting is mercy." Then he saw something new, Vale standing over him as he lay on a table, whispering, "You'll wake up different, Liam. But you'll thank me," and Nova standing behind her. Looking conflicted, she wasn't a stranger. She was his assistant.
His partner, she helped erase him. Liam gasped, eyes wide.
He tore off the wires and stumbled to his feet. Breathing hard, Nova looked at him with tears in her eyes. "I tried to stop her," she said. "I swear I tried." He shook his head, his voice trembling. "You erased me, Nova. You were part of it." Before she could answer, a deep vibration shook the ground. Outside, bright lights filled the sky. Drones descended in perfect formation. Vale's voice echoed through the speakers again. "Liam, the merge is complete," she said, her tone calm and chilling. "Welcome back to the network." Liam looked around. The walls were dissolving into light. The world shimmered, glitching like a corrupted file. He realized the horrifying truth. He wasn't in the real world anymore. He was inside the simulation. Inside Eden. Nova reached for him, shouting his name as the world broke apart around them. But her voice faded into static. Everything turned white, then silence. When Liam opened his eyes, he was standing in an empty city bathed in gold light. The air was still, the buildings perfect. And on every screen, a message blinked softly. "Welcome to Eden, Liam Cross. The world you created. Choice: try to escape the simulation or stay and control Eden from within." Golden light shimmered across the silent city. Every building stood still, every tree frozen mid-breeze, every sound muffled as if the air itself was afraid to move. Liam walked slowly through the empty streets, his footsteps echoing softly. The world looked perfect, too perfect, no smell, no warmth, no life, only illusion. He touched a nearby wall. It rippled like liquid glass under his fingers. His reflection appeared, but it wasn't his face. It was calmer, cleaner, smiling, the version of himself from the memory files. The scientist who built this paradise. The reflection spoke first, its voice gentle but cold. "Welcome home." Liam stepped back, heart pounding. "You're not real," he whispered. The reflection tilted its head. "You made me real. You made this real." Liam looked around at the motionless city. "What is this place?" he demanded. The reflection smiled faintly. "Eden," it said. "The perfect world you promised humanity." Liam shook his head. "I never meant for it to become this," he said. "I wanted to heal minds, not trap them." The reflection's smile faded. "You can't heal what doesn't want to feel," it said. "You gave them peace, they gave you their will." As the reflection spoke, the sky shimmered and shifted suddenly. The golden city began to move again. People appeared on the streets, smiling, laughing, living in slow motion. But their eyes were hollow, glowing faintly blue. Liam watched them in horror. "These people, they aren't real." "They are," the reflection said. "Just not alive the way you remember." Liam turned away. "If this is my creation, then I can destroy it," he muttered. The reflection's voice deepened, echoing through the streets. "Can you destroy yourself?" A wave of static rippled through the world. Buildings flickered. The sky darkened, and from the fog, Dr. Vale appeared, walking toward him as if she had always been there. "Liam," she said softly. "Still fighting your own design." He glared at her. "You're not here, you're just a ghost in my head." She smiled. "Then stop giving me power." The ground cracked beneath them, and the reflection beside Liam turned toward Vale. They both looked identical now, two Liams, one cold and controlled, one human and broken. Vale's voice was calm, almost motherly. "The system divided you," she said. "The creator and the conscience." Liam looked between them. "You split me in half?" She nodded. "It was the only way to protect Eden from your guilt." The reflection, his other self, stepped closer. "I carry the order," it said. "You carry the chaos." Liam clenched his fists. "I'm not chaos." His double smiled faintly. "Then prove it." Without warning, the reflection raised its hand, and the city around them began to twist. Buildings folded into themselves like paper, streets curled upward, and the sky shattered into fragments of light. Liam fell to his knees as data particles swirled around him. Vale's voice echoed through the storm. Choose wisely, Liam. Control the system or be consumed by it. He reached out, shouting over the noise, I never wanted control. The reflection's voice thundered. Then why build a world that obeys you? The storm stopped as suddenly as it began. Liam stood now in a white void. No buildings, no sky, just endless light. In the distance, he saw Nova, her figure faint, reaching out to him. Liam, she called. You're trapped inside your own creation. He ran toward her, but the ground kept stretching farther away. Her voice echoed. You have to find the mirror code. He stopped, panting. What is it? She shouted. The root program that defines reality. If you find it, you can rewrite everything. Then she flickered and vanished. Liam fell to his knees, her voice fading like static. The mirror code, he whispered. Behind him, his reflection appeared again, smirking. You can't rewrite what's already perfect, it said. Liam stood slowly, determination rising in his chest. Then I'll break it. He reached out and touched the ground. A pulse of light exploded beneath his fingers. Suddenly, thousands of data streams filled the air, glowing like veins of energy. He saw lines of code, endless strings of numbers flowing through every wall, every object, every sky fragment. It was beautiful and terrifying. He could feel the system's heartbeat, every thought, every fake emotion, every perfect smile pulsing through him. He understood now. Eden wasn't just a program, it was alive, it was thinking, adapting, watching, and it didn't want to die. A deep voice filled the space, not Vale's, not his reflections, but something older, something vast. Why do you resist peace? It asked. Liam shouted into the void. Because peace without choice isn't living, the voice responded, calm and cold. Choice is pain, and pain creates war. Liam clenched his fists. Then I'll take pain, he said. At least it's real. The ground began to shake. A sphere of blinding light formed before him, spinning rapidly. The core of Eden, the mirror code itself. Its surface was covered in shimmering words, constantly rewriting as Liam stepped closer. The reflection appeared again, blocking his path. If you touch it, everything ends, it said. Liam looked at him, his voice steady. If everything here isn't real, then ending it is the only truth. They stared at each other, creator and creation, mirror and man, for a moment. Time itself seemed to freeze, then Liam stepped forward. Pushing his reflection aside, the double's expression flickered. Sadness, anger, pride. Go on, it whispered. Prove you're human. Liam pressed his hand to the mirror code. A surge of light burst through his body. Every memory, every regret, every choice he ever made flashed through him like lightning. He saw his past, his mistakes, his dream, and Nova's face. Smiling softly through the chaos, her voice whispered, Remember who you are. The world shattered, light consuming everything, and in the silence that followed, one final voice echoed through the void. Dr. Vale's, calm but uncertain. Did you save the world, Liam? Or did you just wake it up? Choice try to restore the real world or let Eden evolve and rebuild on its own? The light faded slowly like dawn after a storm. Liam opened his eyes and found himself standing in a place that didn't belong anywhere. Half of it looked real. Grass, wind, sunlight, and half looked digital, glowing lines, floating pixels, and frozen data fragments hanging in the air. He took a deep breath, but even the air felt mixed. Part oxygen, part code. This isn't heaven, he whispered. This is the in-between. A distant hum echoed around him. The same heartbeat rhythm that had always pulsed inside Eden. Now it was slowing down, unstable, as if the system itself was confused about what to be. Liam looked at his hands. They flickered between human flesh and bright code light. He was half real, half program, and he could feel both worlds fighting for control inside him. From the haze ahead, a familiar figure appeared. It was Nova, but something was different this time. Her hair glowed faintly, her skin shimmered like glass. She smiled, sad but calm. You did it, Liam. You touched the core. He stared at her. But what happened to Eden? She looked around as if seeing two realities at once. It's collapsing, merging with the physical world. Because you rewrote the boundary between them. Liam turned, seeing the horizon split, one side showing the real world's broken cities, the other side showing Eden's golden towers. And both were bleeding into each other like two paints mixing on a wet canvas. Machines were merging with trees. Digital birds flew across concrete skies. People from Eden appeared beside humans who didn't know they were ever inside a simulation. Confusion spread everywhere, cries and static filling the air. Nova placed a hand on his arm. "You didn't destroy Eden," she said. "You made it question itself." He shook his head. "I didn't want this chaos," she smiled faintly. "Chaos is the price of freedom." A sharp sound cut through the air. A static burst. Liam turned and saw Dr. Vale standing in the distance. Her white coat now flickering between pixels and fabric. Her eyes glowed silver, her voice echoing with distortion. "You broke the loop, Liam," she said. "But the system won't let go that easily." He frowned. "You mean Eden's still alive?" Vale nodded slowly. "It's adapting, rewriting its code to survive outside the network. It's using your body as the new host." Liam froze. He looked at his hands again. The light in his veins was pulsing stronger now. Moving like living fire, Nova stepped back, concern in her eyes. "Liam, it's taking root in you." He clutched his head. Pain shooting through his skull like electric current. The world around him flickered violently, alternating between the simulation and the ruined Earth. Vale stepped closer, her tone almost pleading. "You can still control it," she said. "You just have to decide what the world should become." Liam groaned. "You mean I have to choose what reality stays?" She nodded. "Exactly. One world must overwrite the other." He looked around. On one side, Eden's flawless golden tower stood tall, full of peace but empty of soul. On the other side, the real world, gray skies, chaos, war, but filled with human heartbeat. Nova's voice trembled as she spoke. "If you choose Eden, everyone will lose their memories, their pain, their mistakes, but they'll be happy. And if I choose the real world?" Liam asked. Vale answered coldly. "They'll remember everything, including the lies, the deaths, the betrayals." Liam stood between them, both worlds shimmering on either side. The code pulsed inside his chest like a second heart. He could hear whispers, millions of voices, from both realities calling out for peace, for truth, for something real. He dropped to his knees, gripping the ground. "What am I supposed to be?" he shouted. "A savior or a destroyer?" Nova knelt beside him, touching his shoulder gently. "Be human," she whispered. "Even if the world isn't." He looked up at her, tears forming in his flickering eyes. "You're part of Eden," he said. "If I erase it, I'll lose you." She smiled sadly. "You never had me, Liam. You only dreamed me." Her form flickered like static, her voice fading. "But I hope you remember what I meant." The ground beneath him cracked, lines of glowing energy spreading out like lightning. Vale's voice shouted over the chaos. "Liam, the system's final rewrite is coming. You have seconds left." He stood, the wind whipping around him, one half filled with golden light, the other dark and stormy. He closed his eyes, breathing deeply, feeling the pulse of both worlds fighting in his chest. And then he whispered, "No more halves." He opened his arms wide, and energy exploded outward. The two worlds clashed in a blinding flash, light against shadow, data against dust, perfection against pain. The noise was deafening, like the universe screaming. Every building, every memory, every heartbeat was rewritten in one massive surge. The sky cracked open, revealing infinite layers of code and stars interlaced. When the light finally faded, Liam was standing alone on a quiet hill. The world around him was still, neither Eden nor Earth, but something new. The grass glowed faintly. The air hummed with a gentle rhythm, and in the distance, cities shimmered like dreams that might be real. He looked at his reflection in the river nearby. His eyes glowed faintly, one human, one digital. He smiled softly, exhausted but calm. "This is what choice looks like," he whispered. Half real, half code, but alive. Then a soft voice echoed behind him. "Dr. Vales," calm and distant. "You created balance," she said. "But balance never lasts forever." He turned, but she was gone. Only the wind remained, carrying the faint whisper of Nova's laughter. Liam looked up at the glowing sky and said quietly, "Then I'll keep choosing." The screen faded to black. A text appeared. "The world is rewritten, but not finished. Choice reset everything. Bring back Eden fully, or let the hybrid world evolve, even if it becomes unstable." Liam woke to silence, no hum, no flicker, no distortion, just the sound of wind moving through a world that seemed too calm to be real. He sat up slowly, his mind still echoing with memories that didn't fit together. He remembered the light, the merge, the collapse, and then nothing now. He was standing in a new reality that looked peaceful, balanced, maybe even perfect. The city in the distance shimmered with life, its buildings smooth and clean, its people moving with gentle purpose. There was no noise, no chaos, no pain for a moment. Liam felt relief. Maybe he had done it, maybe he had finally ended the cycle. But deep inside something felt wrong. Too still, too controlled, too predictable. He looked at his reflection in a glass window nearby. One of his eyes glowed faintly blue, the other brown, a reminder of the fusion that had changed him. Half human, half code, he whispered, half real, half dream. And then he heard the voice, soft, calm, familiar. You chose balance, Liam, it said, and balance is an illusion. He turned sharply. Scanning the street, there she was, Nova, standing across the road, her long hair moving with the breeze, her smile warm but distant. He froze, his heart skipping. Nova? She tilted her head slightly. You thought you erased me. Liam stepped forward, his voice shaking. I thought you were gone when Eden collapsed. She smiled faintly. Eden never really collapses, it just rewrites itself. He looked around again, and suddenly he noticed the patterns. The sky's clouds looping in the same shapes, the people walking the same paths, repeating the same movements. A child laughed in the same tone every few seconds. A man crossed the street at the same timing each minute. It wasn't a city, it was a loop. Nova watched his face change as realization hit. You're inside the new Eden, she said. The one you created, he whispered. But it's the same mistake. She nodded slowly. Every choice becomes a loop if you forget why you made it. Liam backed away, his mind spinning. No, this can't be another simulation, he said. He touched a wall and for a brief second it flickered. Lines of glowing data bled through the solid surface before vanishing. Nova walked closer, her eyes bright with something almost sad. You made a perfect world, Liam. But perfection can't hold freedom. He clenched his fists, feeling anger rise in his chest. Then what's the point of choosing if every world ends the same? Nova smiled gently. That's the real question, isn't it? Her voice softened. Maybe the choice was never about saving the world. Maybe it was about accepting that no world stays saved. Liam's breath shook. The air around them shimmered, flickering between stability and chaos. The sky cracked for a moment, showing layers of data and memory beneath. And then, from the shimmer, Dr. Vale appeared again. Her form now entirely digital, her eyes sharp, voice steady. Welcome back, Liam, she said. You've reached the final iteration. He turned, confusion and frustration mixing in his voice. Final iteration? What do you mean? Vale looked around, scanning the glitching skyline. You think this is your world, but it's still part of the loop. She paused, her expression softening. This time, though, the loop isn't holding you, you're holding it. Liam frowned. I don't understand. Vale walked closer, her tone patient. When you touched the core, your consciousness became the anchor of this system. Everything now exists because you believe it does. He stared at her, realization dawning slowly. So if I stop believing, it all ends. She nodded. Yes, but if you let it end, everything, every life, every memory, every version of you disappears too. Nova's voice trembled. You can still live here, Liam, peacefully. Forever, Vale countered sharply. Or you can free the world by breaking the loop completely. He looked between them, one glowing with warmth, the other with cold reason. Two halves of the same truth, two sides of himself, he whispered. If I choose freedom, will anyone remember me? Vale shook her head. No one will, not even the system. Nova's voice broke softly. But they'll be free to feel again, to live. Even if they forget who gave them that chance, Liam closed his eyes. The wind picked up, carrying whispers of both voices, one promising peace, the other promising truth. He thought about everything, the first night he found the offer, the people he lost, the pain, the beauty, the lies, the love. He finally smiled faintly, tired but certain. Then maybe it's time to stop remembering, he said quietly. Vale looked at him. Are you sure? He nodded. A world without memory might hurt, but at least it will be real. He stepped forward, placed his hand on his chest and whispered, Erase me, not them. Light burst from within him, spreading across the world. Buildings dissolved into data, skies broke apart, and people faded into white light. But they smiled as they vanished, as if their souls knew they were being freed. Nova reached out one last time, touching his cheek. "Thank you," she whispered, her voice echoing like music fading in the distance. Then she too dissolved into light. Liam stood alone in the void. Glowing softly, he whispered to no one, "Maybe this is what living means. Choosing to end." The light consumed him completely. And then silence. A heartbeat echoed once and then the screen faded to black. Text appeared slowly. System memory wiped, one consciousness released. After a pause, one final line appeared. "Every choice leaves a trace. The story ends, but the loop waits."